For more than 40 years, Honda Civic's been popular among drivers around the world due to its reliability, affordability and innovations. There's been a lot of different models, from 4-door sedans to 2-door hatchbacks, cheap runabouts and performance cars. And in this video I'm going to cover the complete history of Honda Civic and how it became such a motoring icon. Honda in 1960s was very different from what it is today. The company was known for its motorcycles, but many of its cars were not received well and the competition was strong. So Honda even considering pulling out of the cars market in the early 1970s, but the launch of Civic in 1972 changed all of that. The first generation Honda Civic was launched in 1972 and wasn't the company's first car, but it was the first with something bigger than a 2-cylinder 600cc engine. Honda's slogan for the Civic was "It will get you where you're going," and with its 1170cc 4-cylinder water-cooled engine it could do just that. And for the first time ever, consumers were exposed to a car that had German car finish, but at a low cost, with an incredible reliability and fuel efficiency. And all these features also helped to put Civic and the whole Japanese motor industry to the front of motoring world at that time. New Civic featured reclining vinyl bucket seats, optional air conditioning, AM/FM radio and front disc brakes. It was available as a coupe with both 3- and 5-door hatchback options, as well as the 5-door station wagon. After 1973 oil crisis, there was a large demand for fuel-efficient vehicles, so Honda introduced their CVCC engine in 1975, which had a head design that allowed for more efficient combustion. And as a benefit of this new system, the Civic did not require a catalytic converter for unleaded fuel to meet 1975 Environmental Protection Agency emission standards. This system, along with the VTEC system that would be offered later, is what characterized Honda as one of the world's leading engine manufacturers and developers. The first year Civic put out an impressive 50 horsepower, which was considered good for its displacement. It was offered with either a 4-speed manual or 2-speed Honda Matic automatic transmission, and an all-independent suspension setup let the Civic run circles around its competition. Honda continued its momentum with the second generation Civic in 1980. It became slicker, bigger and more like the Civic we know today. All Civic engines now use the CVCC design, and the base model was fitted with 1.3 liter that produced 55 horsepower. Honda also launched the 1500 model that produced 67 horsepower. What was notable about this generation was the introduction of the special FE fuel economy model that was designed to boost gas mileage, and also a sporty new S model. The FE model was rated at 41 miles per gallon in the city and an impressive 55 miles per gallon in the highway. Honda replaced the 1500 GL with the Civic S in 1983. It was based on the chassis with a stiffer suspension setup and more capable Michelin tires. The emblem of the Civic S was accented with red color that became Honda's signature color of speed. The third generation Civic is really what brought the car to what it is today, with the launch of the new generation Civic in 1984. Honda introduced a couple of new engines for this car. It was 1.3 liter 60 horsepower engine was fitted to the base hatchback, while the other models had 76 horsepower engine. Honda launched the base DX and S models, but it was the CRX that was the real star. The CRX was offered in 2 models, the base 1.3 liter CRX and a more powerful CRX 1.5 liter. And due to its lightweight and efficient 1.3 liter engine, it had an amazing fuel economy. The rating was from 51 miles per gallon in the city and 67 highway. Honda introduced four-wheel drive into the Civic in 1984 along with the 6-speed manual transmission. This model had a fuel economy rating of around 28 miles per gallon on the highway. The CRX SI, which was introduced in 1985, had the most powerful engine of the fleet. It came with 91 horsepower, 1.5-liter engine, and Honda also kept the weight to the minimum by using plastic fenders. This powerful engine was combined with the lightweight, made SI the fastest Civic. It could hit 0 to 60 in under 9 seconds. In 1987, Honda equipped station wagon models with its new real-time four-wheel drive system, which was an upgrade over the push-button system introduced in 1984. And this Honda's real-time system automatically directed power to the wheels that had the optimum grip and removed the need for a driver to decide when four-wheel drive needed to be engaged. In 1988, the fourth generation Civic was introduced. It was slicker, more refined and more powerful. Along with the redesigned exterior, Honda launched a family of new engines, and the DX, LX sedans and wagon models came with this new 1.5-liter 16-valve engine that produced 92 horsepower. The base model, the hatchback, was fitted with a less powerful 70 horsepower version of the same engine. And Honda's fuel economy champion, the CRX HF, returned with 62 horsepower 8-valve engine and the fuel economy rating of 56 miles per gallon. And the standard CRX came fitted with 92 horsepower engine, while the CRX SI and Civic four-wheel drive wagon came with the Honda's 105 horsepower. It was a 1.6-liter engine. Fuel injection was now standard on every Civic, as was the double wishbone suspension setup that was inspired by Honda's involvement in the Formula One. The new double wishbone design actually promoted better handling and a comfortable ride by controlling the travel of each wheel and keeping contact between the tire and the road. In 1992, for its fifth generation, Honda completely redesigned Civic, giving it a more aerodynamic body that brought Civic to the front of small car design and development. Honda continued the trend of offering hatchback and sedan models with a range of different engines and trim levels available. CX models were fitted with 1.5-liter 70 horsepower engine, while the DX had 102 horsepower. The other two models, VX and SI, were equipped with Honda's variable valve timing VTEC, and the VX had a 92 horsepower VTEC E. E stands for economy engine, while the SI had 125 horsepower VTEC. And despite the increase in power and ability to carry 5 passengers, VX fuel economy numbers were 48 miles per gallon in the city and 55 on the highway, almost the same as an old CRX HF. In 1983, a new car based on Civic was introduced. It was Del Sol. It debuted as a replacement for the CRX, but was built on a shorter wheelbase than the Civic hatchback. The car featured 2-seat layout and a Targa-style roof, and buyers could get either a 102 horsepower 1.5-liter engine or a more powerful 1.6 with 125 horsepower. For the 1994 massive overhaul, it was given a 1.6-liter double overhead cam engine that produced 160 horsepower, which was not made available for other Civic models. But it actually didn't take long for fifth generation Civic owners to work out that it could be easily swapped to their cars, this new 160 horsepower engine. The new Del Sol also received other upgrades such as bigger brakes, firmer suspension and high performance tires. And still, due to its ability to easily install upgrades and swap parts, the fifth generation Honda Civic remains popular among tuners and racers. Honda launched a new generation Civic for 1996 model year that was bigger than the previous generation. Honda replaced the VX hatchback with the new coupe, the HX, and despite being designed to replace the fuel-efficient VX, the HX could only manage to offer 39 miles per gallon in the city and 45 on the highway. It was a significant reduction when compared to the previous VX. This was in part due to more powerful 1.6 liter 115 horsepower VTEC-E engine, and also this engine added body weight. Later in the year, Honda introduced the continuously variable transmission CVT for the HX that promised seamless performance with manual-like fuel economy. And also Honda installed a new 1.6 liter 106 horsepower engine in hatchbacks, which meant that car qualified for low emission vehicle certification. And later, due to popular demand and to the joy of small performance car enthusiasts across the world, Honda reintroduced the Civic Si in 1999. It now featured a coupe-style body and was equipped with a 1.6 liter 160 horsepower VTEC engine that gave the car similar performance to the Del Sol and the more expensive Integra GSR. And it had new 15-inch alloy wheels with bigger tires, firmer suspension and disc brakes all around, and on the outside a front spoiler, side seals and body graphics that would actually set SI apart from other Civics. The redesigned 7th generation Honda Civic debuted in 2001. The biggest change was the introduction of the new front suspension, McPherson, with the double wishbone setup being replaced by this new comfort-oriented McPherson design. This step actually disappointed many driving enthusiasts, but it allowed Honda to reduce cost and actually create space for the new engine. Most models were fitted with a slightly larger 1.7 117 horsepower engine, but the EX had a 127 horsepower engine and HX had a fuel efficiency focused 1.7 liter engine with 115 horsepower with 5-speed manual or 5-speed automatic, and GX and HX had a continuously variable transmission. Honda reintroduced the fan-favorite Civic Si in 2002, which was based on the European-built hatchback body style. The car featured Riley-inspired dash-mounted 5-speed manual transmission and a high-revving 160 horsepower engine. It had a softer handling, however, compared to the previous generation, Si performance numbers were actually down. The next big change came in the form of a hybrid model that combined 85 horsepower 1.3 liter engine with a 13 horsepower electric motor, and this new Civic could manage 46 miles per gallon in the city and 51 on the highway. And while this was impressive, at the same time it was still no match to the 90s VX Civic that could hit 48 miles per gallon in the city and 55 on the highway with just a regular gasoline engine. The 8th generation Civic was available from 2006 and was radically different from the previous generation. The car's relatively compact front and highly ranked windshield gave coupe and sedan models more of a spaceship-like appearance. This high-tech look actually carried over into the interior, with the funky-looking dashboard being ergonomic at the same time. The Civic's new interior was actually down on space when compared to the previous generation, but consumers really didn't seem to mind or notice. The car was offered with 1.5 liter inline 4 that featured Honda's iVTEC system. This engine produced 140 horsepower and 128 pound-feet of torque, and it was paired with either a 5-speed automatic or 5-speed manual. While the previous generation SI hatchback reception was not great, the 8th generation SI was widely praised, initially only available in coupe form. The SI had a 197 horsepower 2-liter engine and sport-tuned suspension, a limited slip differential and a 6-speed manual transmission. Honda also offered a natural gas-powered GX model that was fitted with a conventional 5-speed automatic transmission and a 1.8-liter engine that produced 113 horsepower and 109 pound-feet of torque. Honda also continued to offer a hybrid model for those who had a fuel economy in mind. It had continuously variable transmission and 1.3-liter gasoline engine and electric motor. Altogether, the hybrid system produced 110 horsepower and could get 50 miles per gallon city and 50-mile highway. Honda's 9th generation Civic launched in 2011. It was originally designed to be larger, but the 2008 financial crisis and the growing demand for fuel-efficient cars led Honda to develop a smaller, lighter vehicle that was more fuel-efficient. The new Civic was slightly smaller than the ongoing model and featured new engines, and in addition to the main models, Honda also launched Civic HF. The revived HF abbreviation actually last time was used in 1991. The HF sedan received a number of aerodynamic and fuel efficiency enhancements. This car featured 1.8-liter inline 4-cylinder engine that was mated to 5-speed automatic transmission. Honda's Eco Assist technology was added to most Civic models except the SI to improve fuel economy performance. The Eco Assist is this information system that helps driver to adopt more fuel-efficient driving style and is proven to improve fuel economy by about 10%. It works by using color-changing indicators to indicate that to the driver how fuel-efficient they drive. Compared to the previous generation, the new Civic was about 8% more fuel efficient thanks to the aerodynamic improvements and less weight. The hybrid Civic was fitted with 1.5-liter iVTEC engine that produced 90 horsepower and the new electric motor that was rated at 23 horsepower. This new hybrid Civic could give 44 miles per gallon when the most other gasoline-powered versions gave about 39 miles per gallon. The new SI was the first generation to use a different engine to other models of the Civic. It was available in both sedan and coupe forms. It was powered by a new 2.4-liter engine that produced 201 horsepower and 170 pound-feet of torque. The power was increased to 2005 horses in 2014 just simply by retuning the exhaust system. This new 10th generation features new fastback exterior design with the rear C-pillar flowing into the tailgate. Additionally, the front end was updated to be more futuristic, and the interior received massive updates as well. Honda decided to use higher grade steel for this 10th generation, which meant that the body of the car was lighter than the previous model, although overall the weight is heavier, and the dual pinion steering system was introduced, and Honda's engineers actually increased the diameter of the steering column to improve the steering feel. The engines offered include 1.6-liter iVTEC inline 4 and all the way to the 2-liter turbocharged engine found on the Type R. The transmission options are limited to a 6-speed manual or a continuously variable transmission. The Civic Si returned for 2016. It is powered by 1.5-liter turbocharged engine that produces 205 horsepower. Honda paired this engine with 6-speed manual transmission, and the new Si can go from 0 to 60 in around 7 seconds thanks to the new steering design and also 10th generation SI, regarded as the better overall performance car than its predecessor. It also features adaptive dampers, better brakes, and overall stiffer setup than compared to the standard Civic. And in the end, Honda Civic is one of the most iconic vehicles of all time. It turned Honda from primarily a motorcycle manufacturer into one of the largest car companies in the world. That's all I have for you today, guys, about this Honda Civic. Check out my channel for my other videos, but for now, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.